What's up, guys? We are back with another Figuarts review, and we're taking a look at an older figure that I just didn't get around to reviewing, and that was basically the entirety of the Dragon Ball line in 2019. I only reviewed, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them, despite the fact that I have them all. And this is one that it just slipped through the cracks, and then it started kind of a landslide with the rest of them. So today we're taking a look, finally, just because I want to do it. It's certainly not new. We're taking a look at the full power BROLY from the Dragon Ball Super movie. So we've got this guy here in a standard yet really oversized package for the line. So you've got him there in the window, product shot down there on the corner. You have got product shots on the side, and then a whole bunch of product shots on the back showcasing him in all of his oversized glory. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, the Dragon Ball Super BROLY. So I guess if you're not familiar, this is the now actual canon version of BROLY, because all the other stuff existed in movies that were not part of the ongoing story. So this guy is BROLY that fits into the ongoing Dragon Ball storyline, and of course he's from the movie that it's been a little while now, and then of course this figure's been out for a little while. But I do like this version of BROLY. I don't know that it's something that would ever top the original, because I still dig that version of BROLY, that look and feel. But this one's really cool just because of what they did in this movie, and his overall design is pretty cool, and it translates into figure form quite well. He does have maybe one, well, I suppose 2 things that are a little goofy on this figure, but overall, this is an impressive thing, just in a general sense, from looks and size, how he moves, everything really. So let's see how he moves around. He does have a few surprises here and there. So you've got a head that he can't really look up because, well, he's got a big mane of hair. He can, however, look really far down with the aid of the neck that's articulated. You've got some bobble action in there, and then of course you've got rotation. He is going to hit his massive traps, but you can kind of pop it over that. Then you can get him to do some unrealistic stuff like that if you need to. You've got arms that go out at the shoulder. There is a butterfly joint in here, so you can get him to go forward and backward. And then you've got rotation at the shoulder. You've got a bicep swivel. You've got double jointed elbows. Of course, he's got big monstrous arms, so they really only give you a little bit more than 90. You've got your rotation, and you've got hinges at the wrist there. Pretty standard for the line. We've got a diaphragm cut here. Mine is really squeaky, so I'm sure you'll notice he goes backwards and he goes forward, and he chirps a lot while doing it. And then here we go, twist. So, you know, there's your ears gone. And then we've got a waist twist down there as well. So pretty standard stuff. Legs go out about as far as the skirt piece will allow. The skirt, however, is segmented, and the back is hinged. So it will allow you, there's a hinge in his butt, will allow you to pop this thing and move it in and out. You do have to kind of position it and get it right to fit back in there, just so that it's not popping against itself, but it does work pretty nicely. Legs go out, again, about that far. You just have to work with that skirt, so you can get pretty much further than you would really need. They go forward, they go backward. Again, just work with that skirt piece. You've got a cut. We've got double jointed knees. This is where you kind of got to work with it a little bit more. They go a little bit better than 90. And then down at the ankles, you've got rotation, you've got hinges, you've got rocker, squeaky rocker, and you've got some crazy unrealistic toe articulation too. So this guy is pretty well packed. The only thing I'm really not, I guess, happy with is just his inability to look up. Otherwise, though, he moves exceptionally well for being, frankly, enormous. And size really is kind of the name of the game when it comes to this figure, to this character, and it always has been. He's just, of course, different now. And we'll do a comparison to the original BROLY. That's the only one that I have. I never got any of the other versions, the slight color variations. I only ever needed one for my display. And this guy is just different. So he's not as big. He's certainly not as bulky or as wide at the shoulders, but he is still quite massive. He's easily, you know, one of the biggest figures in the entire Dragon Ball line, and it's just a cool looking design. He is similar enough while being different enough at the same time to warrant kind of being a character redesign. Of course, he does have, you know, like scars and stuff all over his body, so he's got them on his bicep, on his shoulder. We've got the big one on his chest there. There is a little bit of shading in the musculature on this figure, which helps to bring out the sculpt. The back is really well defined because there is a little bit of this kind of tan shading on the flesh tones there. It just brings him out, makes him pop a little bit more. You've got the dragon skirt piece thing. That's what it was, right? It was like a dragon monster or something. Spoiler, I guess. And of course, like I said, this guy is segmented and it will hinge at the back, but it looks good. It hangs really well. The sculpt and texture on it's really nice. There is a little bit of paint as far as just making the skin tone versus the fur tone go. You've got the purple pants. There's not really any shading on those, but it doesn't really need it because of how dark the color is. And then you've got those sort of Saiyan style boots. This is where things get kind of wonky because, I mean, there's just no denying it. The feet on this figure are way too big. Well, maybe not way too big. They're just too big. They're definitely oversized, and I think it makes it look kind of weird, especially when you've got the toe articulation going. They are, if there's one thing on the figure that it's just weird looking, it's the feet. Otherwise, though, he looks fantastic. His size is there. You know, he's over 8 inches tall. A lot of that has to do with the fact that he's got so much hair that stands straight up, but it's an incredibly well sculpted, really beefy, very prominent, you know, very shelf presence type of figure. And they just did this design a lot of justice here. I really do understand, you know, now that I've finally gotten around to really doing a lot with him after having him for so long, why so many people were so happy with this figure and why he kind of graced a number of top 10 lists this year as well. I can see where all of the excitement went because it's just a good looking, nice moving action figure. And that doesn't even mention the head sculpt, which is superb, really. There's not a lot to say negative about this because he just looks great. It's a pupilless eye design as far as out of the box look, and he's got the slightly metallic green hair, which I really do like on this particular figure. I like that kind of off yellow, sort of off green mixed blend look of hair, and it works really well. It's a massive head of hair too, of course, as you would expect for a Saiyan character of any kind. Nice big scar on his cheek, the green eyebrows as well. It's just a grimacy, evil, nasty looking head sculpt, and it's another one where they've just basically knocked it out of the park. And here we go for a quick size comparison, just to give you an idea of what he looks like with some other figures. So, of course, the obvious comparison is with the original BROLY figure. And you can see they're really, really similar in height. But in terms of overall bulk, the original figure still has it. It's just the design. So he is wider, he is beefier in the arms, in the chest, and then, of course, all through the legs because he has that baggy style of pants. But really, beyond that, it's just a different style. It's a different look, different character design, so you can't compare him too much more beyond that. And then you've got the Saiyan Raised on Earth version of Goku, so a standard style figure art. You can see that, I mean, he is just dwarfed by both of them, but of course even more so by the new one, and that's the best one to compare him to. He's just a couple heads taller, so the scale is definitely there with these two in particular. I think that this particular BROLY goes up against just about every other Dragon Ball figure art really well. He basically towers over just about everything in this line. Now, as far as accessories goes, this is the area where I think the figure is definitely kind of lacking just a little bit. And frankly, I always kind of think they are, unless, of course, we get an energy effect. I always want something more with Dragon Ball stuff just because that's the thing. So this guy is pretty sparse in a general sense, and I'm assuming that's because he is, of course, so big. So you have got a couple extra faceplates to swap out. You start with the kind of smirking, crazed-looking head sculpt, and then you've also got a screaming, mouth-open, yelling style head sculpt, both of which just as good as the original one, just used for different instances. And then you've got a couple of sets of hands. So we have got the fist hands on him in the package. We've got just open palm, kind of splayed fingers. And then you've got a set of more gripping style hands. He doesn't come with anything else. He has no energy effects, nothing like that. So if I would want one thing, it would, of course, would have been an energy effect. But he does have enough stuff to put him into some more dynamic poses, change him up, change his look up a little bit. But of course, I would always want a little bit more. So overall, this is a great figure. There's really not much to say negative about it outside of the fact that he's got some kind of Sideshow Bob style feet, and he does lack on the accessories, but he has enough stuff to really play around with him quite well. It's just, again, I always want more. Otherwise, though, he has a tremendous shelf presence. He looks fantastic. Size is, again, really what it's all about with this figure, and I think they did a great job here. Frankly, I should have opened him up and messed around with him far, far longer ago. I really did only mess around with him for the first time as of this review. I've taken him out once before this, and that was only to take a couple pictures, and then he went right back in the box, and I just sort of got kind of lost with him. Otherwise, I should have messed around with this figure a long time ago. He probably could have ended up on a top 10 list for me. So that's going to do it for this look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Full Power Broly. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time.